Formula One world is heating up, not just because of racing, but due to dramas outside of the track. The latest battle has arisen between the 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton and the FIA regarding a nose piercing. Now, Lewis Hamilton is close to a potential race ban due to his continued protest against this new rule. Little sparks of this battle were seen at the end of the Imola Grand Prix with the banning of the wearing of jewelry during a racing event. This was not something new to Formula One, and it was in the Formula One books since 2004, but none of the race directors wanted to enforce this rule until the appointment of Niels Wittich as the replacement of Michael Masi. The fun fact is that every race director is making decisions that are always against Hamilton. Masi was involved in a controversial safety car incident at the end of the 2021 season that ruined Hamilton's opportunity of winning his 8th driver's title. Now, Wittich is here to remove his pieces of jewelry. Anyway, the decision may be 100% pure on concerning the safety of drivers, not targeting any driver specifically. Unfortunately, this works totally against Hamilton, as he's the only one who refuses to remove jewelry. But his refusal is totally fair, as some parts are permanently attached to his body, and he may have to undergo surgery to remove them. Then, who should be the convict of everything? Charlie Whiting was the race director before Masi, and this rule banning the wearing of jewelry was introduced during his period as race director, but it was never enforced. Actually, Hamilton arrived in the McLaren as a rookie driver in 2007, and then he was not with any kind of permanent jewelry on his body. If the rule was enforced properly since 2004, then Hamilton would never have gone for such ornaments. Formula fans love Charlie Whiting as the greatest race director of the history, and he was someone who really cares about the safety of the drivers. Then it's somewhat controversial to hear that Whiting never enforced this rule. Michael Masi, who worked more closely with Whiting, followed the same path of his predecessor by never banning jewelry for drivers. Due to the safety car controversy, Masi was replaced by Wittich before the start of the 2022 season. In addition to this appointment, many changes within the Formula One governing body happened, especially the appointment of Mohammed bin Sulayem to the FIA president role. So, new ideas started to flow with the new people within the administration, and the jewelry ban was suddenly enforced. This is not only within Formula One, but also within other race categories governed by the FIA. As the first punishment related to the violation of this rule, 2 Formula E drivers, Pascal Wehrlein and Mitch Evans, were given a suspended €1,000 fine and put a point to their super license for wearing necklaces in their cockpits. Hamilton refused to remove jewelry, mentioning that it was a difficult decision for him to remove some permanent ones attached to the body piercing. After imposing the rule, Hamilton said, "I don't have any plans on removing. I feel there are personal things you should be able to be who you are. There's stuff that I can't move, so I can't even take these out. These ones in my right ear, they're literally welded in. I will have to get them chopped off or something like that, so they will be staying." Except Hamilton, no other driver refuses to remove jewelry or comments against this new move of FIA. Wearing the jewelry during a race affects badly on the driver during an accident, causing more damage, or its presence within the body after an accident is a problem in medical treatments as well. Expressing his idea to enforce the jewelry ban, Wittich said, "In the case that medical imaging is required to inform diagnosis following an accident, the presence of jewelry on the body can cause significant complications and delay. In the worst case, the presence of jewelry during imaging may cause further injury. Jewelry in and or around the airway can pose specific additional risks should it become dislodged during an accident and either ingested or inhaled." After the Imola Grand Prix, Hamilton challenged directly to FIA, refusing to remove the jewelry. Even though he was threatened unofficially by a possible race ban during Miami Grand Prix, no action was taken. The 7-time world champion made a U-turn by agreeing to remove all the jewelry except his nose piercing for the Miami GP. Hamilton described this as a step backward for the sport, but he continued his protest against FIA by wearing extra jewelry during the press conference ahead of the Miami Grand Prix. The funniest thing is that he was like a jewelry shop with 3 watches on his hands, different types of rings on every finger, instead of different types of necklaces. According to the latest reports, Lewis Hamilton has held a discussion with FIA doctor Sean Petherbridge before the commencement of the practice session of the Miami Grand Prix, and it'll be the main factor that affects Hamilton on the sudden U-turn regarding the jewelry ban. Nose piercing is the only thing that was refused to remove by Hamilton, as it needs a small surgery to remove. The FIA is not flexible with Hamilton's request, and they gave 2 race grace periods for that surgery. For the first time, the FIA president, Ben Sulayem, raised his voice regarding this issue by threatening the 7-time world champion with 2 race bans when Formula 1 goes to Monaco. He said, "That's up to him. There are fines that apply. It's like if someone speeds on the roads, you can't stop them doing it, but they get fined, even if it was accidental. You can't let people off because they are your friends. There has to be one rule for all, and that's that." He then added, "I love jewelry. I absolutely love it. But in the car, there can be no choice. People say the rules, haven't been implemented before. Don't ask me why not. People can ask the old regime why that's the case." If Lewis Hamilton is not interested in this requirement to remove the nose piercing, a ban of 2 races will be imposed as decided by the FIA. Mercedes is now at its lowest point of the turbo hybrid era, and their W13 is not showing any signs of championship winning capability. Hamilton is currently at the 6th position of the driver's standings, and the chance for his 8th driver's title is very slim. Then his point count is not important for him as in previous years. Lewis Hamilton has no strong intention of agreeing with FIA's request, and it now seems to be that he's going to accept the race ban. Replying to the FIA statement on a possible race ban, he said, "If they stop me, then so be it. We've got a spare driver." Unfortunately, it seems to be that Hamilton is lacking the support of his own team regarding this issue. According to Toto Wolff's statement regarding the jewelry ban, Hamilton's action is criticized indirectly and supports the decision of enforcing the jewelry ban to maximize the safety of F1 drivers. Wolff said, "I think it's important to remember why wearing any kind of jewelry is not permitted in the regulations, and that is to avoid injury. Where do you draw the line? It can cause an injury, and I think all of us don't want to see an accident, a freak accident, where suddenly there's a follow-on injury from jewelry. That's why the FIA, at the moment, is trying to draw a line in the sand. I understand where they're coming from." Within the next few days, this jewelry ban will surely heat up the whole F1 paddock, and Spanish Grand Prix will be an interesting one with the hot gossip around Lewis Hamilton. Historically, the streets of Monaco are not friendly to the 7-time world champion. Let's see whether Hamilton is going to make a U-turn ahead of the Monaco Grand Prix or going to skip the next 2 races if he continues his protest against the FIA. But what will be the action against Hamilton if he comes with the same nose piercing after serving the 2-race ban?